Hey everybody, my next guest is an actor and comedian from Staten Island. He was the announcer on the Artie Lang Show from 2012 to 2014 and has acted frequently on film and television. His comedy album entitled Thank You can be found on Spotify and iTunes. And on July 19th, he'll be hosting at the Giggle Room at Governor's Comedy Club on the Clash of the Islands with Mike Bocchetti and friends. Here he is, folks, the one and only Mike Bocchetti. Dude, what's up, man?
Hey, Don, thanks for having me. Thanks for having me, Nicole. I can't wait to meet you in person. We do everything virtually.
I know, right? I feel like I've known you forever, and we've yet to have met in person.
It's crazy because, but Don, when we grew up, this is like the Jetsons come to life. Am I right or wrong when you think about the situation here, right?
Dude, it really is. It's like the Jetsons. It's like we caught up to the Jetsons. All we need is the flying cars, and we'll be good.
I don't think we're going to be able to see. I doubt that'll happen for our generation. Right? I don't know. I don't think so. But the next couple may.
I heard that they actually. This is what I heard. I don't know. People can fact check me if they're watching. I heard that they have the technology to make a flying car, but the reason why they don't do it is because they don't know how it will work in our culture, like as far as traffic and things like that, and the air and the airplanes and all this kind of stuff. There might be too much to it that they have to figure out, but who knows.
There are a few key reasons that we don't apply in cars yet. First of all, they're stupid. Second, they're dangerous. Third, they're impractical. Fourth, you're an asshole.
Well, you know what I think might have a lot to do with it too. When you think about something about this, if they were invented when it was foolproof tomorrow, the airlines would probably try to shut it down and crush them.
Exactly. Yeah, that's
think about it, right? Because it would kill them.
Yeah, that's what I think is a big part of it is the airlines and all that traffic control. Those traffic controllers, man, God bless them. They already have enough stress.
The airlines would definitely put a battle up in them against them, I'm sure.
For sure.
Right? They're like, why don't we need you guys? We can fly ourselves now.
Exactly. I think we'll see more kind of those trams and that kind of transportation. Like the monorails.
Have you been on a tram? I'm terrified of them. They're so high up. I'm scared of heights.
Yeah, I don't like those either, man. I am definitely not a heights guy either. I freak out, man. But it's so weird. I can go up high in a building and look out the window and be fine. I can go in a hot air balloon and be okay. But
I'd be terrified, Don. You wouldn't get me like even near a hot air balloon because first of all, like buildings scare me too. Like up at Sirius, they're on like the 36th floor of Sirius Radio.
Oh yeah,
I can't even look out. You know what I mean? Still, that's high up.
So you don't go on rooftops or anything?
No, I'm terrified. I know psychos that were the kids that jumped off rooftops into pools.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I wish I was one of those daredevils like that. You know what I mean? Because
I am a golden god.
I wish I would have been a daredevil.
Yeah, me too, man. I don't understand. I can never be a daredevil, but for me, I could, like I said, I could be in a hot air balloon, but I couldn't go on a ladder. I don't like going on ladders. Like,
I'm afraid of falling because, Tom, but daredevils look cool. But how many of them have body injuries and got messed up and other things, and some daredevils became criminals as well. Am I right?
Yeah, exactly, man. Like those parkour. You ever see those parkour guys? The guys that just jump up a building. And all that. No. Yeah, those dudes are nuts. And like you figure how many times did they break a leg or an arm or ribs? Like how many times they face plant?
No, they don't care either, though, right? No, it's like years ago, Don, psychos used to go bungee jumping.
Yeah. I've never gone bungee jumping. I've never done it. No way.
Because one thing I would love to do, I mean, this would definitely get me out of my height fear, I'm sure, hang gliding.
Yeah, that would be awesome. I would. To me, I would rather go. What do you call it? Like parachuting, jump out of a plane with a parachute. But as long as I have a professional guy,
I'd still be terrified of somebody fucking shoot up on people.
But hang gliding to me is a lot more risky, I think, because you got to really depend on the wind. Yeah.
With the hang gliding thing, you're jumping off a cliff. Am I right or wrong?
Yeah, you're running and jumping off a cliff, and then you just literally just gliding down to the ground. I might hang glide if there was water beneath me, you know what I mean? And I know that if I crash or something, I'll at least could go into the water. But yeah, you need to know a lot about the kind of the wind and all that kind of
Oh, so
stuff.
much stuff, right? You need a super scientific mind, that's for sure.
I know that the guys who do hot air ballooning need to have like a pilot's license. They
Well,
need to,
that doesn't shock me. Am I right or
yeah.
wrong? Because you just can't put anybody up there. Am I right or wrong? Heck no, no, no,
Right.
no.
No, you can't for sure because uh, like with ballooning, you know, they are really depending on the weather patterns of the wind patterns and all that stuff. So they don't even know where they're going to land. Like, so they'll know
No.
where they're going to take off and they know where the balloon's going to go, but they have an estimate where they're going to land. But they have a chase team too. So it's a team sport, believe it or not. So you got one guy in the basket and then you got another person in the chase team in the car below, and they're kind of like, yeah, let me know you guys, because they have to be there for when they land to help them take the chute down and pack it up.
You know what I always want to learn how to play? I've been watching it recently, and it's an intense game. Lacrosse.
Yeah, lacrosse is awesome, man.
Because, like, the thing about that game is, I know a lot of people, some people know, people who are fans of it know, some other people do, that it was a Native American game they used for war games to practice. Am I right or wrong, right?
Yeah, that's what I believe it is,
And
the roots of
Native
it.
people invented it, right? And I've seen it played. And like a couple of centuries ago, it must have been a really savage game to play that.
Guess what? Lacrosse, North America's oldest sport, wasn't invented by college bros, but by Native Americans in the Southeast, especially the Choctaw, way back in the 12th century.
Yeah, man. That's interesting.
Have you
Yeah.
ever played or no?
I've played lacrosse, but never really competitively. I worked for a lacrosse team, though. Actually, I have their hat right here.
It's intense, right?
Yeah, I worked for the New York Riptide. I worked
Oh,
for them for
nice.
yeah, I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, the New York Riptide. I worked for them for a couple of seasons. They played out at Nassau Coliseum, and then they just recently left. So now they moved to Canada. So we lost them, but we had a professional lacrosse team. So I would work with the professional lacrosse team and do all their video work and all that kind of stuff. So
Those guys are those guys pretty big guys physically, most of them?
they're kind of built like hockey players. So they're like really lean and in great shape because they're running constantly, and and they're also muscular, but not too muscular. But they're in great shape because think about the endurance it takes to constantly run back and forth, and it's physical too. They're bumping into each other, they're checking. It's like hockey on land,
Well, Native people must have been intense with the game, am I right or wrong? Oh,
Oh
yeah.
man, oh yeah, oh
They
yeah.
loved that game because, and you know what I played as a kid? Not a lot. Soccer is cool. Albania just went over Italy, I think, recently, right?
Yeah, with this soccer's. I work for a soccer team too, believe it or
Oh,
not,
nice.
in
God, they
Atlanta.
go crazy in Europe over soccer, right? I mean, they're nutburgers over there with it, right? Really, right?
Oh yeah, it's the biggest sport. It's the biggest sport in the world, like worldwide. But in they have the MLS now, Major League Soccer, and they have a couple of. We have the New York Red Bulls, and there's also the New York Soccer Clubs. There's two New York teams, but the one in Atlanta, I worked for them. They were called the Atlanta United, and I'm telling you, I didn't think that we had a following of soccer like this, but we do. These they call them supporters. These supporters, instead of they don't call them fans, they call them supporters. They were crazy, like jumping
Oh,
around.
imagine Europe, Tom. I heard years ago it probably still happens. They would tear stadiums down, have riots if their team lost, and go nuts in Europe at one time.
Oh yeah, man. There's a goalie friend of mine who he passed away a couple of years ago. He has
I'm sorry.
and he has a book out and all this stuff that he put out a book of his life before he died. And he was a goalie, and he lost the major game, and they from England, and the people turned on him and all this stuff, and he had to kind of rebuild, and
Whoa.
yeah, so it was a heavy thing. What was his name? Hold on, I have his book somewhere. Yeah, Graham Tutt. His name was Graham Tut. They called him.
Okay.
His nickname was Tutty, and
That's funny, right?
yeah, he was a great dude, a great human being. God bless him. But yeah, so
Was he old when he died?
yeah, he was, I would say, about 10 years older than us. So like, well, I think yeah. So even though you look younger, I think you're 10 years older than me. You were born in 1961, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm born 71.
Well,
And
it's the same generation of people, but just
yeah,
like,
and we look like we're the
Yeah.
same age. You look good, man.
thank you, Don, because, yeah, but you're a native Long Islander, right?
Yes, born and raised.
I'm a native Staten Island because I spent time out on Long Island, right, when I was a kid,
Right.
specifically Massapequa Park, right?
Oh yeah, great town.
And in those days, it was very like countrified, like upstate New York.
Yeah.
I mean, they had
yeah.
their own. Is it still like that out there now? I haven't been there in many years.
No, now it's like if you come out to like Massapequa or a lot of those towns, they're definitely not like the woods anymore. Or it's more like little. It's like Queens kind of. It's getting
Well,
like a heavily populated.
That's horrible because but how far out Long Island do you have to go? I mean, like Port Jefferson's the country, right? They would consider that the country out there.
Yeah, Port Jeff is when you start to get into the country, and Port Jeff is like beach town and all that. I live out east. I live out in Manorville, just before you get to the Hamptons, and
nice.
And it's the country out here, man. This is where we have farms and pumpkin patches and wineries and all that kind of.
What a Revolutionary War battles in that part of the country where you are now or now?
Yeah, that was on like the North Shore, yeah, and all out here, yeah. It's like they had all the Revolutionary War stuff. George Washington.
Just weeks after the Declaration of Independence, George Washington faces his first major test. On this day in history, August 27, 1776, the Battle of Long Island. British General William Howe has invaded Long Island, hoping to split the colonies in half by taking New York City. The Continentals are perched on Brooklyn Heights, hoping to rain fire down on the British, but Howe outmaneuvers them, taking the Gowanus Pass and outflanking them. It is a decisive British victory, but Washington got the last laugh 2 nights later in a daring nighttime escape, secretly evacuating his entire army across the river to Manhattan, surviving to fight another day.
And in the certain beaches where people still try to go there with the those little
Metal detectors, right?
Yeah, metal detectors, and they're trying to find relics from that time period. And there's museums out here too where you could see some of the stuff, some of that history.
I love that kind of stuff because, like, I know they had a TV series. I don't know if you've ever seen it. It was on TM, whatever they called it, called Turn.
Turn, the untold story of America's first spy ring. Series premiere Sunday, April 7th.
It had all parts of Long Island. Most of the show is based on like different parts where they fought the battles out there, right? People didn't realize. I didn't even realize. In New Jersey too, there wasn't a lot of fighting in Staten Island. It was the Revolution, but the only thing too is there were no Civil War battles fought in Long Island or Staten Island. No, they were down south mainly, right?
What, with the Civil War, or are you talking about the Revolution?
Yeah, Civil War, definitely.
Yeah, the Civil
definitely.
War was mostly in the South. I think there was some fighting going on out here though, because I was in Rhode Island, and they had Fort Adams, and they said it's after the second president, John Adams, and they built that fort for the Revolutionary War to hold off ships and stuff, but also it was utilized during the Civil War as well. And I was like,
I know
wow.
they trained a lot of people out here and stuff. And the thing is, like, the thing about our history is, I mean, we spilled a lot of blood here.
Yeah.
But the Euros spilled thousands of years of torture and blood and savagery.
Dude, if you look back at any country or any history, it all goes back to war and blood and takeover, and it's hostile and it's not pretty. And and our history certainly is not
even the cave
pretty.
People, oh no, the cave people were throwing rocks at each other because they didn't wanted something different. If I read it wrong,
exactly, man. I mean, I don't think we're ever going to solve it.
See, Don, our history is debatable in a way because I started to question stuff when I got older. You know what I mean? Like up to my, late 20s or early 30s, I was like, okay, yes, we got to believe all this stuff was jammed in our throat, right? Then I started questioning stuff, especially with all some people may hate me for saying this, But what the founding right, there were two points in them. One, a wealthy, super rich landowners that only gave a crap about themselves. Right. They really want to free people. Now, go with the first one. Because first of all, they didn't want to pay the king any more money. You know what I mean, right? And this may sound, I feel in my heart, this is the truth. Wars in this country, not World War II so much because they want at all because they want to destroy the Nazis and other people, right? Don?
Yeah, I'm with you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, then they wanted to screw that, but otherwise, all the battles here and everything else, basically, rich people sending poor people out to be slaughtered.
Yeah, exactly, and that's how it always goes. It was the king sending them out. I mean, back in the day, some of the kings actually fought in the battleground, but yeah, it always seems to be like they're sending.
Oh, they definitely did. Some of them definitely did. Don, are you kidding me? Some of the popes had armies. They were fighting, dispatching armies to murder people with.
Yeah, it's crazy, man.
I don't get. It's crazy like that. You know, you think the Pope of all people was supposed to be civilized, peaceful, God-fearing, loving. That Pope, some of those popes had armies to dispatch on people.
Yeah, because the road to Christianity was also kind of violent too back in the day. Like
it was horrible because how crazy is that, Don? If you didn't believe in Christ, they would murder you for it.
Yeah,
torture you. It's like, and he wasn't sent here for that at all. He was so against them murdering people in his name. Are you kidding me?
The 30 Years' War, 1618 to 1648, was a devastating conflict primarily fought in Central Europe. Originating in the Holy Roman Empire, it involved most European powers. Religious tensions between Protestants and Catholics, coupled with political disputes, led to a series of battles. The war caused immense casualties, famine, and economic decline, reshaping the map of Europe. The Peace of Westphalia in 1648 ended the war, establishing new territorial boundaries and promoting the principle of cuius regio, ius religio, granting rulers the right to choose their realm's religion, marking a significant shift in European politics.
I'm always on the fence when it comes to religion. Like I believe in God and all of that stuff, but religion always seems to be such a fear-based and power-based type of industry. And look at all the wars that are caused over religion. You know?
I mean, it's true because one thing that bothers me about the Vatican is, and this has been annoying me recently over the years, right? Lived in poverty and would visit anybody. You know what I mean, right?
Right.
Why does the Vatican need to be billionaires and so wealthy? And you know what I mean? Like the Pope having a $90,000 Rolex on his arm. You know what I mean? Or just like, you know, like I just say Christ would see anybody, especially if they're real downtrodden. Meanwhile, you need a special dispensation to see the Pope. That's ridiculous.
That's a great point, man. That's a great point. You know, Jesus was definitely, you know, for the people. He was there with like homeless people, sickly people, you know, prostitutes, you know, thieves. He would try to rehabilitate and save people.
It seems like not that he loved us all, Don, but it seems like he favored them.
Right. Yeah. Well, he wanted to save them. Yeah. Yeah. He looked out for them.
Out to them because, and today people, you know, but that's the thing. Like, you know, I said to myself, why would you know the Pope, you know, why does the Vatican need all that wealth? Right. God, Jesus want all that wealth. I mean, Don, how much money they must have? Like priceless paintings and relics. I mean, Don, they have the Shroud of Turin over there. You know how priceless that is?
Today in 1 Minute Mystery, we're exploring the Shroud of Turin, a linen cloth that bears the image of a man who appears to have been crucified. The shroud has been the subject of much controversy and speculation over the years, with some people believing that it is the actual burial shroud of Jesus Christ and others suggesting that it is a medieval forgery.
They have all the stuff too from the Roman Empire. Like when Rome went down, like the Vatican has all that stuff. So,
God, yeah.
So it's that. Imagine that, like all the history that's in that place.
They own all that stuff.
And they just had the Pope just had a bunch of comedians. Did you see that? A bunch of comedians.
I heard that.
Yeah. 100.
Very,
yeah.
Centuries ago, the Pope's probably banned court jesters.
Exactly. And that's what I'm wondering if because it looks like some of the comedians he brought in were like some of the late night hosts and things like that. And I feel like he's trying to win them over in a way, so maybe they could send a positive message and maybe help
Oh yeah,
heal the world, you know. So
Don, I don't think he had anybody who was over the top over there. I don't think Andrew Dice Clay was visiting him over there. No.
uh,
No. Although maybe the Pope would want a private show from Clay himself.
My girlfriend, she's like, well, what about foreplay? I go, honey, didn't I smack you around already today? I like that once you're living with her, man. You'll hear things like, well, why do I always get the wet spot? Honey, be happy you're on the bed when I'm through with you.
now with you, with
nobody's over the top.
Yeah, that's true. Now you've been in stand-up comedy for, I mean, a long time, since like the early 90s, right? Or
92.
He's really funny guy. Please welcome Mike Bocchetti.
Hi guys, give it up for Laura. Keep it going for Danny. So how you guys doing? Good? Good. So, how many people think I look like Hank Hill? King of the Hill. Thank you. I look like Hank and feel like Peter Griffin, actually. Thank you. Thank you.
Like, what's the road that led you to comedy? How did you get started?
Oh, okay. What do you call it? This is a good story. I love telling people. Thank you for asking me, because I was always a fat kid that was bullied, right, and picked on. And I loved the TV show Sanford and Son with Red Fox.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I had no idea he was a stand-up comedian until I went to the record music store and seen an album, and I bought it. I started doing it, and the thing was, someone who was bullied about 12 years of his life at that time, I heard them laughing at Red, right? But they weren't mean to him. They loved him. You know what I mean? They were laughing at him because they appreciated him, right?
Right.
And I'm like, whoa, this is something I wanted to do someday.
Let's pause here a moment. We'll drink a toast to human beings around the world and what makes them laugh. But first, a sip.
So the first time I got on stage was 1989. I was in my late 20s. I dabbled with it. No idea, Don, how the business worked. No clue. Very super delusional. I'll be the first one to say it. I thought within a year I would have been told to go out there like Dice did.
Right.
no idea how it worked at all. And, and I did it for like 6 months. I got kind of frustrated because I thought I was going to be a huge movie star in a year or two, you know what I mean, right? Then I came back in 1992 and I never stopped.
When I was a kid, I had an imaginary playmate. He was an alcoholic. I called him Dad.
Don, there are so many reasons why people are super successful and some are not. Because, first of all, it's a crazy business. Business don't have a lot of rhymes or reasons to it. There are people that are huge that shouldn't be, and there are people that mega talented that are not. You know what I mean? It should be. But I think that a lot of factors go into it. First of all, everybody's always says luck. It's not a lot of luck. You know what? Luck is like a small factor today. You know what I mean? Because first of all, it's very different than it was in 1992. In those days, we had to be at the mercy of everybody. You know what I mean? Like sets out, agents, comedy club, whatever we're doing. We never had like what me and you were doing right now. You know what I mean? We didn't have that kind of communication with people, right?
Right, yeah.
So you had to be at the mercy of a lot of people. Not only that, today, Don, you like get a podcast and go to the roof with it, you'll be set for life. Or you develop a TV show on your own now. It could be life-changing money, right? People, you know what I mean? People can be a little bit more independent now than they used to be.
Right.
And that changes the game too, but the bad part of it is that like there are a lot of funny people that I know, that are super talented, the headliners at least, you know what I mean, right? That aren't getting recognized what they deserve because they may not have a big following on the internet, or they're not net savvy, or they're not social media savvy, you know what I mean, right? And the people that are super young now have, a zillion followers, but they don't have the experience or talent to back it up.
Right. No, that's very well said. And yeah, I think that too, a lot of times now with today's culture, these people are kind of being fast tracked up because they might have a hit on social media or something like that. And then all of a sudden they're asked to do a headlining spot at a comedy club, and then they can't hang. They just fall down.
Oh, absolutely. No, that's like acting wise, if someone put them in a big movie, like a major film, and they put them in with like a scene with Paul Giamatti, like say they had a major scene with him. Now, if you're not a trained actor, haven't done anything besides YouTube, you're going to look ridiculous with Giamatti.
Yeah, yeah. You did a scene with Paul Giamatti?
No, I'm saying that people now, influencers.
Yeah.
I would love to work with him. He's one of my favorites. Right?
He's awesome. He's awesome. I did
he
see
can play anybody.
Yeah, he's definitely one of those kind of character actors that can get lost.
He's a chameleon, right?
Yeah,
chameleon.
he truly is. He's one of the great actors, and I think he's underrated in a way. I think people who know him know how great he is, but I think he should be more in the conversation. He's a great actor.
He should be up there with DiCaprio.
Yeah, man. We were just talking about John Adams before he played John Adams, and it was awesome.
If only all of the Congress were of your sentiments, sir.
You ever see that series? Yeah, he was great.
I mean, but DiCaprio is awesome as well. I love him because he's a lead, but he can play a lot of different people too. He's a talent.
For sure. And
he can play anybody.
I saw you did the web series Tubby Man, which goes back to kind of your bullying theme.
Yeah.
Tubby, where you going? How much money you got in your pockets? Fatso, you fat tub of lard. Where do you think you're going? Give me your money right now. Let's go.
Remember when you spilled that energy drink in that mattress with those Persian bed bugs?
Yeah.
Well, they drank some, and it turned them into super duper freaky bed bugs. One bite from them would give anybody superpowers.
Tell me, I think that was great. Whatever happened with that?
You know what? We had some people behind us that were helping us with it, and we're supposed to work with some huge people, and we're supposed to have our work edited by a certain date, and we didn't get in on time, and they got all ticked off with us.
Oh wow, yeah, because it was really. I think you were great in it. The message was great in it. I love the whole thing with the bed bugs, and then what's cool too is you had a young Pete Davidson, you had Clayton Fletcher,
Donnell Rawlings,
Donnell Rawlings, Jordan Rock, Judah Friedlander. You had quite the cast, man.
Yeah, I mean, I like all the people. I knew Pete as a new comic. I knew Judah forever and Donnell for years as well, and they were nice enough to do it with me, and they were so much fun.
Yeah, that was awesome, man. What was that? 2017-ish?
Oh, 2013.
13. So 2013.
Well, the thing that didn't help it was, okay, we went to a company called Blip, BLIP-TV.
Right.
And they were getting huge, you know what I mean, right at the time.
Yeah.
They put us on the network, and all of a sudden they lost funding, and it just went through the floor. But not only that, you know what hurt us too? Like, Artie Lang put it on the show, but he presented me the wrong way. He bullied Tubby Man, which is horrible. He went against my message.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which hurt us.
How did he do that? I mean? Like in
just
the show?
By mimicking it and saying bad stuff about, you know what I mean? It's like, that's why it's like, don't get me wrong, I'm grateful for what I did on his show and stuff like that, but now, being that I'm starting to do other stuff, I need to be my own person. I mean, I'll give you a good example, Don. How would you treat this situation? I'm dying to ask you this.
All right.
I go online and do stuff and talk to people, right? First question out of people's mouth before they say, "Hi, Mike, how you doing? How's Artie doing?"
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's kind of like, you know what I mean? At first, I didn't care, but it's fucking very condescending to me.
No, I can understand that because you're like, yeah, because it feels like they're not interested in you. They're only interested in hearing about what Artie's up to.
Well, but I'm very nice. I'll explain, and this is what I say recently. I say, first of all, I haven't talked to him in at least a couple of years, which is true. I don't have his email, his phone number, his address, or anything. No communication with him, so I really don't know, and I'll tell him that.
Right, yeah.
But I'll be nice about it, because the thing is, it's like, and I'll say sometimes, how's Mike doing? And I'll explain how he is.
That's the way to do it. That's the way to answer that question. Yeah. I can't tell you how he's doing, but I can tell you how Mike's doing. Yeah. No, I can understand. I can understand that totally, man. And it's kind of like when you get associated, like a lot of actors aren't like their most famous character, like like Harrison Ford doesn't like to be associated with Han Solo all the time. And it's just, I guess it's the same kind of thing where,
course.
for you, you don't want to be associated with Artie Lang your whole career.
No, but now with Smiling Friends, it's crazy because my internet, like the TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, I had thousands of people. And the thing is, Don, it's crazy because the people I added are Gen Z, people in high school still, a little older than that, and young millennials in their 20s and early 30s. These are my kids and grandchildren, Don. And it's like, and they embraced me and reached out to me, and it's amazing because, but the cool thing is, Don, if I get enough of them and it goes through the roof, I'll be working with Adam Sandler. Am I right or wrong? Absolutely, because that's how the doors open up.
Totally, man. And for people that don't know, so you're playing the fictional president of the United States in Adult Swim's comedy cartoon Smiling Friends. That just debuted in May of this year, 2024.
Yeah, so much fun.
And this is a huge thing, man. I mean, being part of this cartoon, this kind of series, and playing the president. How does it feel to be the president?
It's weird because people actually call me the president all the time.
See, like, you tell your mom, hey, remember I told you I was going to grow up and be the president? Well, here I am.
Hello, everyone. Welcome. I'm honored to be here today with the Prime Minister of Blingo, Mr. Blingo. He's an honor. He's honored among his people, and he's eternal knowledge of the United States. Thank you.
It's funny. Somebody came on TikTok the other night as John Wilkes Booth. They have that in MA. And I go, hello, Mr. President. And I go, I don't know if I should speak with you. That's what I told him out there, right? He goes, what do you mean? I go, well, you know what you did to Pete. You know what you did in history. That's what I told him. And then we find it out. Not nasty find out, but just battle out of Booth and me on there, right? And it was funny because even some of my fans stuck up for me to go, they called, you're an atrocity. Stay away from President.
That's great. So you're getting a whole following now, and the show's being well received, and
got another season.
Yeah, so this is huge, man.
So tell me. Also, I can't say anything about it now, but I can tell you definitely, probably by the time I see you, I just got cast in something else today that is with a company that's really good. That's like has a huge, gigantic cult following. So I'll tell you more about that when I talk to you in person. I can't say anything yet. You know what I mean?
All right, cool. This is this exciting.
It's something else awfully cool because, but Don, it's weird because it just came out of the blue. I mean, a year and a half ago, they reached out to me. I really didn't even know what Smiling Friends was, to be honest with you. You know what I mean, right? Never heard of them, and then I just did my research. And then it took a while but here's what happened. Because they reached out to me when the writers and actors strike was going on. You know what I mean, right? So we had to wait a while. I mean, they reached out to me in January 2023, right?
Right.
To send me a script. I didn't go to LA because the strike was over for almost 5 months, right? We shot it in June of that year. And then it took almost another year to get on television. So it was a whole long process, right? And Don, my whole life, I'm not a patient person. So a guy like me waiting all that time to get it, you know what I mean? Yeah, I want everything yesterday sometimes.
Yeah, I hear you, man. Yeah, it definitely could be, just the anticipation of waiting for something to happen, something that is going to be great, could especially if it's a cartoon or kind of an animated.
And it's weird, Don. It's weird because I'm blessed to be on the show, but it's weird. Being a voice on there is amazing as well, right? But live animation, talk like Roger Rabbit, is mind blowing. You know what I mean? They got to see me as me.
Right. Yeah. Because you're not animated. You're actually you, but they put some kind of filter on you, and you're dealing with cartoon people.
You know what? This helped me as an actor and a voiceover person. You know what I mean? It's like a double blessing.
Guys, I did it. I didn't get sick from a sour gland.
You were supposed to condemn him.
What?
You just emboldened a war criminal dictator.
Dude, I don't know anything about politics, and even I know he's bad. He wiped a whole fucking race of people off the face of the planet.
Maybe it will be all right.
Don, what was I going to say? I love that shark over there. Is that from George?
This shark, so if you look at this background, this is the set of Wayne's World. So here, the shark here. This is a fake background.
Nice.
Yes, this is Wayne's World. This is my homage to the guys.
Oh, you know what's funny, Don? You just made me think of something funny, right? How funny would it be if they did another Wayne's World reboot and they casted us as their pals living next door?
we should we should do that, man. That'll be awesome, bro.
How funny is that? Would that be if me and you with their pals living next door and we're all the guys still thinking it's 1993 with them?
No. Neither did I. I was just asking.
I know, Don. I'm sorry if I got to cut you short a little bit. I'm starving. I haven't even eaten. That's okay.
Yeah. So before I let you go, just I just want to talk about July 19th. We got the big show. It's Mike Bocchetti and friends, and just tell everybody a little bit about the show coming up here at the Giggle Room at Governor's.
It's going to be great because first of all, thank you, Don and Tony, for putting this together. What do you call it? And Jimmy and Governors, I love that guy in his rooms. Clubs are great. And what do you call it? It's going to be myself. I'm going to host this. My friends Rob and Greg, they're twin comics. They're awesome.
Yeah.
They've been doing comedy like 10 years. My good longtime friend who I know on your show yesterday, Tony Landolfi, who's been in a ton of stuff with me.
Yeah.
We toured together. We did stuff on the Stern Show. We did a lot of things together. I haven't seen him in a bit. I'm really excited about seeing Tony. It's been a long time.
Yeah, he's awesome.
I'm really happy he's on this. And my great friend who I know forever as well, Irene Bremis, she has an album out now as well. I know her for years forever. So I want to keep just working with you, Tony, and all our friends who are close to it. You know what I mean?
Right on.
I don't want to reach out. I don't want to reach out to people at all because, I mean, this may sound selfish. There are tons of people who could have reached out for me that never did.
Right. No, I understand
Still
that.
don't.
Yeah, I understand that, and we're gonna keep this going. I would love to make this like a monthly or a bi-monthly type of show.
Yeah, bi-monthly is better because like monthly's hard because it's hard to get people to keep coming out. I mean, it's like
right.
Jimmy does an amazing job at producing. So you and Tony, it's not easy though.
Yeah, it's always a challenge, but I think as long as we keep quality comedians coming on like Irene and Tony Landolfi and you and
Rob Greg and the thing is that but what I love about this is right, I've done comedy in the city, out of the city, different places, right? The thing I like about Long Island comedy is first of all, Manhattan comedy is fun, but it's like tons of tourists from all around the world, different parts of our country, right?
Yeah.
Long Island comedy is just regular people that go to work every day, American, you know what I mean? I call them Americana, you know what I mean, right? Which I love and I fit in with that. That's who I am.
Right, yeah. No,
my family is, you know what I mean? All my friends are and family are because I love it. It's just like everyday people, you know what I mean? And that's what I love performing for.
Me too. And I think that's the salt of the earth people. Those are the real people. Those are the ones that live in those neighborhoods. Like in the city, like you said, it's a lot of tourists, a lot of people just coming and going, visiting. Yeah. They don't really live there.
I don't have anything against them. They're nice people too. I met some people from other countries that were incredible, and some people from our own country that are cool. It's just that when you put them all together, it's kind of weird to perform for them.
Right. Yeah. It's like a disconnect.
Especially me, and how unique my comedy is. Like I've had people from other countries go, "We love you," you know what I mean, right? And other ones looking like I had 10 heads. Same thing from our part of the country, right? Like they're like, "What do you call it? To want to make me May?" I got to tell you one quick thing, right? Don, I did a show upstate years ago with Tony's cousin Sal.
Sal Governale. Yeah.
Sal, Richard Christie, myself. What do you call it? Chips Cooney. It was so much fun. We did a show up in Oswego, New York, which is like really heavy duty country. We couldn't even get phone service up there. Right.
Wow.
Right. And we get up there, and the gig we did was like a rock place, like heavy duty hardcore metal rock. And I'm doing a show, and there's like a whole table, like 30 or 40 guys, full of 1% bikers that are one real deal. I'm saying real bikers. I mean, like 1%.
The 1%. Those are the outlaws.
Well,
yeah.
I'm not going to name that club because I don't think murdered. They pull in, come in, and what do you call it? And then all of a sudden, one big guy gets up and he waves me over to the table. And I'm like, oh, no, right? He goes, yo, dude, sit down. I'm like, oh, I hope I didn't offend these guys, right? He goes, man, you had us crying. We love you. I'm like, whoa. I'm like, you know, this we had you crying. We love you. And they go, one thing, too, is we felt bad that you were bullied as much as you were. We could see you, obviously, on Al. And he goes, well, we would have definitely smashed some skulls and easily. I said, right? And gave some bullies a good one.
There you go. Did they make you an honorary member of the gang or what?
Yes, I'll tell you one thing, Don. But see, the thing is, like, the funny thing is, I've learned that lesson my whole life. All the real tough guys in life despise and hate bullies.
That's true.
They can't stomach them. You know what I mean? They're not bullies themselves. They can't stomach bullies.
That's true. And I think that's because real bullies are cowards. And guys like that, guys who could really, defend themselves, or big tough guys, they're usually not bullies, and they usually look out for people that get bullied. So so I think and those 1% guys,
they're like vigilante heroes.
Exactly, man. Exactly, dude. Well, hey, tell everybody where they can find you and follow you and all that stuff.
Okay. Me on Mike BOC, Facebook, TikTok. What do you call it? Also, I have a book coming out on AKRA, Warrior of Darkness. It's he's about a vigilante superhero that turns New York side upside.
Wow. Tell me about the book one more time. You got a book coming out?
It's called Aquara. Oh, it's out now. I'm sorry. It's out on Amazon Prime and ebooks, right? Kindle. It's from the early 80s. What do you call it? It's called Aquara, AKRA, Warrior of Darkness, right?
Nice.
He's a vigilante superhero. I'll explain him physically, right? And he comes to New York when the city was a horror story and turns it upside down to bring it back to where it should be, right? I'll explain it briefly. So physically, he's like 8 feet tall. This part of his face has samurai war paint on his face.
Wow.
This part of his face has Apache war paint, warrior on his face, right? He has a Viking helmet. Strapped to his waist is a Roman short sword. Right? His boots are furry Vikings up to his knees, right? He has samurai armor here and a Native American breastplate made out of bone here. On the back of it, strapped to his back, is a 6-foot Viking double-edged war axe.
Wow. Damn.
In his hand, samurai sword, right? But he also has an evil grin on his face.
This is awesome.
A vigilante superhero because he's out to do justice. Yeah, and then I wrote it because today, first of all, it's a great thing to have out because people today love, like when we were kids growing up, the comic books like Superman, Batman, the Green Hornet traditional. Now they have a lot of like horror types where it's like all vigilante superheroes.
Right, yeah.
That are wreaking havoc on idiots. Am I right or wrong? Because first of all, the thing is, Don, you got to remember one thing: like all creative people, right? But creative people, especially young ones today, computers, animators, all kinds of stuff, right? Basically, we're bullied by idiots. Am I right or wrong? One time or another.
Yeah.
Am I right or wrong?
Most
of them are heckled and bullied by idiots. So now, all the kids that would call the geeks are the cool kids.
It flipped over. Yep, that's
I love
right.
it because all the poor kids that were in both sides of school to get their ass kicked for the candy money.
That's awesome, dude. That's awesome. Well, Mike,
I love it. How cool is that, though? All the kids that wear double pants in both sides of school.
Yep. It always it turned the tide. Man.
Running.
Did I lose you again? Mike Bocchetti, everybody.
Absolutely.
Okay, very good. Well, I think the connection's kind of
but
slipping
let
here.
me go because I'm starting to get to bed.
Yeah. Go get something
Don,
to eat, my friend. Always a pleasure. Mike Bocchetti, everybody. Find him and July
great day,
19th.
Don.
Thank you, buddy. Take care. We'll see you later.
I love you, Don. Have a great day. Thanks.
Love you too, brother. Take care, man.
Thank you, Don.
Peace.